How's it going there? I have couple interesting conversations to have with you today. One now here is one I wanted to talk about how people with mental illness are thrown under a bus. So instead of the politically correct people coming out and defending people with mental illness and saying, hey, this is a common disability, say like autism. We'll use autism for example. So, what what would classify somebody as being disabled with autism? Um, I took a lot of time having to try to research that. It's still kind of a little bit foggy as to what that that really means and is, but I can tell you that I had a personal um, what do you say, infliction of the disease to myself. So, is it a disease or is it a man-made created disability onto other people from uh, practices and things that other people do? I'll give you my story and I'll tell you how I was diagnosed with autism when I was a young child. So, Um, when you're born, I was born in 1977 in Roseburg, Oregon, and I had a doctor. He was sounded kind of like a Nazi, kind of evil, doctor of doom, doctor of death, kind of. I would, if I knew where the guy's grave was, I would go and I would pee on his grave for what he did to me because I believe that he did things intentionally that caused me up to this day still now problems, irritability, and what you say um, problems with I don't really, I'm not gonna say it because it's gonna sound real goofy if I do, but um, anyways, he wouldn't clip my tongue for over a year. So when I was, from what I understand, from what I was told, um, that caused me irritability and a lot of gas. So I was constantly in pain. It causes uh, constant severe pain, and it's intentional. It wasn't um, anything that was anything less that I see that's not that isn't on that doctor in particular for not doing that, and perhaps maybe even my mother for not trying to sue the guy or go to another physician. Why it took her so long, over a year, to go to another doctor. I don't know. Um, I guess life is just a big learning process. But anyway, so they have people want to try to tell you that immunizations do not really cause harm to children or people in their lives and cause a permanent uh, disability on somebody that's going to last them their whole entire life. So I feel demonized and I feel ridiculed for no other reason than a political uh, object, a political toy object. And the better that I am at not being able to explain where I'm coming from, the better it is for politicians. So we had an immunization shot given to me, and then instead of being born over in Okinawa, I was born in Roseburg, where I have, have family there, so they keep the family, my mom, intact with relatives instead of moving over and off somewhere um, with the military with my father. Like how he went and served over, did his duty station or whatever over in in Okinawa. So the people insisted, or the government insisted, that I take another immunization shot. So I would guess that if I would have only had the one, I would have been in the clear. But they insisted that I take another one. So for some reason in '77 they had no um, way to keep track of all that stuff. So the computer database and everything wasn't linked with everything. So my mom had to basically, I guess, prove that I had been immunized already. Or what I think it could have also been is they could have said, well, yeah, I see he had an immunization when he was born, or whenever that was, but they insisted that I have another one at 3 months old to go overseas because they must insist that you must take an immunization or whatever these shots to, when you're coming from a place that doesn't have any diseases, you have to take one to go over there if they have diseases, or nobody has diseases. They just want to make sure you don't find a disease or something. You're going to lift a rock up and, well, lo and behold, your immunization saved your butt. So I had a long life, let's say, struggle. It was, um, I think, unnecessary what they did, and at a time when they'll tell you now that they didn't have any way to be able to, um, you know, help people out with this diagnosis and treat them properly, especially if it was somewhere in public schools or something like that, even private schools that I had been to weren't professional enough to know how to deal with me. And if that were the case, then maybe they should have just left me at home and just not, because at that point, if they're forcing somebody like that to go to school, that's that's complete torture. I can tell you, it was complete torture. So whatever bitterness or things, regrets that I hold up to now, people want to act like I have no right to be bitter or to be sore at the outcomes of things and things that I had to go through, trials and errors and everything. So, and not know exactly what it would have been like to have been perfectly normal from an infant to the time that I'm here making this video now. So, early on, the society completely loses me in my more of a awakened state that I'm in now. It completely lost me on how they treated me back then. Yeah, I think it's abusive and completely downright cruel and morbid. And so now I'm past a lot of that. So I'm 38. I'm not a creep. I don't necessarily think of harmful things or anything like that. So I'm trying to figure out. Some things here on how they got all these politically correct people in the world pressing for political correctness, and at the same time they'll allow their people to get away with very uh very what do you say, vile attacks on people with disabilities. So take Obama for example. He's saying he's trying to, or he did or something, he's attacking people for guns or whatever, and they think it's going to stop gun violence from attacking people with mental illness. So I just want to say, going from somebody with a disability to now being demonized as someone with mental illness, I'm appalled. I'm sick. I'm disappointed, and I'm utterly disappointed with everybody up to this point in time. All the progress and everything that we made. I heard somebody say something about why are these people pushing for social justice and everything up to now when they've basically clobbered everything, social matters or issues up to this point in time. They've freed the slaves. They gave women rights, to make sure that you know uh, gay people have their rights or whatever. But wait a second, there's a catch. There's one that slips by every single human being unless they get and understand what I'm saying from being in a position that maybe I'm in. So I want to just say that there is still a bit left of social justice, in my opinion, left to deal with, and I'm going to take the brunt of that. If people want to attack me or even kill me, you want to kill me, go ahead. You want to beat me to death, go ahead. It's not like I haven't ever been actually beaten up, literally to where I was beaten in the face, bloody, and really treated cruel like that before. So it's not like I wouldn't already know what the pain was like or what not to expect from having personal experiences being actually literally attacked like that. So um, I just wanted to say that my rights are they're out the door. They're out the window. So if I were to get a lawyer out here, somebody who's willing to examine this on the surface and dig deep and actually proceed with a lawsuit, I think I could win. But I consider a lawsuit, especially one against our government, a lose-lose situation because I might win and I could win millions of dollars from the government. But at the same time, I'm doing something against my own personal uh, feeling that I would be regrettable towards doing, and that is causing all of those. Um, I would think I would be abusive to the system, and I would be causing more, what do you say, debt to our nation's economy, and the debt that the government owes. They don't care because they can pay for all their lawyers and everything. And whenever things done and did, you don't sue Obama for his words. You're suing your own self. I'm suing my own self in my own country because somebody is president who shouldn't be president. So I just wanted to tell you personally how I feel about that in particular. I do not believe 1 second that gun violence and with the police being violent, whatever, killing over 1,000 people last year, from what I heard, in this country, in America. I do not think gun control is the answer in France. Right at the same time when Obama comes out and has his press conference and he's giving his, you know, low down on the, what we've got to do with gun control here. Completely Democrat strategy, and it's all for the Democrat Party to achieve complete gun control. So to make people register for to own a gun or whatever else, I think it's really creepy of them. Uh, so you have these guys basically demonizing us. But anyways, long story short, it's not in this part of what I'm trying to say. My point is, I truly believe that gun violence is from gun control. It's not from gun rights. It's not from you having your gun rights. If you understand and respect your rights, I don't see you causing a problem with them in particular. But if you're hostile and you're mad under the collar, and then you keep voting for this complete power grab, this insanity, like Obama's your buddy, like he came to represent all of us, you know. Yeah, he's doing a smack up job representing Americans, huh? I think not. Um, the guy is completely creepy, and uh, gun control is not the answer for that. So gun control is definitely I'm circling the wagons here on this video around gun control in particular, and I'm going to link that with demonizing people with mental illness. So I do now I'm thinking of I think he's my favorite comedian is Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman was shot by his wife. She had mental illness. If the guy was taking care of her, how did she wind up with the gun? You take examples of all this stuff, and instead of making laws and rules and regulations against it, you put into practice people's common sense and knowledge on how they're going to be able to keep guns away from people like that. And it starts at home and with family, and not with the world and other people prying into your personal business. So here we are at another point in time. My another thing like your the secret ballot. The secret ballot is completely jeopardized to the max, where everybody knows who everybody votes for now. There's no such thing as a secret ballot. I might as well just tell them, yeah, you know me. You know what I vote for. You know, go ahead and just do it for me or whatever, or do it openly. You don't have, there's no secret about it. No secret ballot about it. um, so I'm saying just like that in the same sense, now things that are supposed to be private, a private matter, it's not a, they didn't, don't have the right to tell people about their mental illness conditions, or, you know, where people are coming from, or anything about you and me if we go see a psychiatrist or anything like that. But with Obama and his politically correct crew here that really need to be taken away and just disappeared. They need to be removed from society. They need to either leave here or be forced to leave or killed off, ethnically cleanse them. Something has to give, because this is completely ridiculous. It's double standards. They don't think that they're pushing an ideology with what they're saying here, and they do, and they're doing the same thing, and it's perfectly fine for them to get away with it, but they want to censor everybody else in the world. But it's okay for them to go ahead and expose people's personal matters and share that with the entire world. So people don't really understand the contrast of that, and they're like, yeah, duh, we want more gun control. We we want to take these innocent bystanders' guns away from them. Look at France. So I'm going to use France now. So what has France been? They've been they took their guns away. The people voted for their own selves to be disarmed. So it'd be like disarming themselves, unmilitarizing themselves, and going ahead and letting any totalitarian mind come in there and dictate to them any which way. So they have a huge population of Muslims in that country. So the radicalization of Islam. They do not have the right to come and get in my face and tell me I don't have the right to eat pork, or I don't have the right to do certain things or have habits, you know. They need to stay out of my country if that's the way that they think, and if they want to push an ideology that is not religious, like the KKK or something like that. They need to get out, or they need to shut the hell up. That's my opinion. So we're here seeing people being completely demonized with disabilities, and I think it's completely sick and morbid. It's sick and morbid of them.